My name is Rob Basso, and as a successful entrepreneur, I've been involved with hundreds of businesses and learned from their owners what makes them tick. Today, I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs examine the challenges they face and find solutions to make their businesses even stronger. This is Basso on Business. Scott Rose started Rose Fence back in 1984 with a shovel and a truck and turned it into the largest fence company on Long Island. Several years ago, Rose Fence had grown to over 250 employees and $28 million in sales. Then, the economy took a downturn that threatened the company's survival, with employees and revenues shrinking to less than half the previous level. I got the opportunity to meet with Scott at the Rose Fence office and showroom in Freeport, Long Island, where Scott explained to me the Rose Fence business and showed me some of the day-to-day operational procedures, as well as discussing last year's downturn to his business and the giant storm that came to Long Island this spring.
Last year was a crazy year, and
what do you mean a crazy year?
You know, with the housing bubble, we're kind of tied to the housing market. I think 3-4 years ago, you know, checks would come in all day long, and it was home equity line of credit.
How did that make your decision-making change when the money was just pouring in?
A lot of growth. You know, we built an extrusion plant, we bought the building, we bought the machinery, storage yards, trucks. I would stare at the ceiling at night. You know, how am I going to do this? You know, how am I going to pay this back? How am I going to meet this payroll? How am I going to do this?
I can see that you're having difficulty even talking about it.
Yeah, there were hard times, and I'd be honest with you. I'd stare at the ceiling, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I tell you, Mother Nature helped me out in March. We had a storm here on the South Shore that affected Howard Beach to like Islip. You saw the devastation, just trees, you know.
Now, most people would be very disappointed about the sight of this devastated neighborhood and the trees, but what was actually going through your head when you saw this? Did you see dollar signs, basically?
You know, I'd be lying if I said no, but I would just want to get home at this point because it's been the day from hell.
So this stuff is pretty cool, and it's obviously really durable. Where do you get this stuff?
We extrude it ourselves in our plant down in Freeport.
You actually make this?
We have our 6 extrusion lines, and after the stuff gets off the line, we roll it into the front of the building where it gets assembled into a fence or an arbor, whatever we're doing.
You know what, why don't you just show it to me, and then maybe it'll make more sense if you show it to me. Okay. So this building's enormous. Do you own the whole building?
We do. It's 30,000 feet. In this side of the building, we actually extrude the product. The chemicals, the compounds go into the extruder, which is just a big oven that heats this material, these chemicals up. The screws turn in it to make it into a paste, and then it pushes it through a tool to make the shape. This plant has a captive audience, and it's Rose Fence. You know, we're manufacturing for ourselves. Well, ultimately, we have to sell these goods, but they're sold up on Sunrise Highway. You know, we're out there selling fences.
Okay.
We got 8 guys on the road selling fences all day. These machines work 24 hours a day. We used to work 24/7. We're down to 24/5, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
How about when things weren't doing so well? Did this place look like a ghost town?
Yeah, we 2-3 days a week.
What did you do? Okay, the storm came, it helped you out, you got some new business. What did you do differently in your business after you had that major challenge? What mindset changed?
You know, now it's put the capital away.
So your money was tied up. You might have had assets, but you couldn't easily go and get the cash out of those assets.
Exactly, and that was very frustrating.
Do you do any kind of financial forecasting other than in your head? Do you have it all laid out on spreadsheets? We did this much this year. This is my goal for next year. Here, Mr. Salesperson, here's your goal this month. Here's your quota. What do you tell your guys?
You know, I'm not a real goal person. I mean, don't take that the wrong way.
Well, that's interesting.
No, I have my goals.
How could you have run a $30 million business?
I have my goals, but, you know, I could start a fence that I think is going to take 8 hours to do. And then you start digging holes and you start pulling chunks of rock out.
I know exactly where this is going. What you're going to say is my business is different than every other business that's out there.
Not every other, but it's got its...
I'll confess that it's no different than a limo guy, than a guy who owns a gallery, than a guy that runs a payroll company. We all have nonsense that comes up in our day. It's how you choose to plan that day for the inevitable case when something goes wrong. Is this a bad characterization? You really didn't do anything. This storm came, and it saved your butt.
Yeah, absolutely. with the help of Mother Nature and that storm in March, I would have had some problems.
What kind of problems would you have had?
Just capital. Just raising capital was impossible.
Problems is one thing. Disasters is something entirely different.
It might have been a disaster, yeah. To the point where I might have had to sold my primary residence.
Well, you said you had some long-term savings. Did you have a retirement plan?
I did. I took it. What do
you mean you took it?
I took my 401k to keep this thing going.
All of it?
Yeah.
Was it substantial?
It was, there was some money in there, yeah.
Scott, you've obviously built a beautiful life for yourself, not just because of this beautiful home, but because of the family and company you've built. How does that make you feel?
I really enjoy my home. It's nice to come home after work and hang out. My kids, everybody uses the backyard, their friends and family, and it's great. It's relaxing.
It seems like you've built a good operation over the last 30 years that went through a real tough period. Aside from pulling yourself out of the mess you had a while back, what are your growth plans? What are you looking to do? What is it exactly that you want Rose Fence to be 5 years from now?
We're up 20% this year from last year. But you know that's a hard number to do again.
When you were down 50%.
Exactly. That's going to be a hard one. But we're in pretty good position now financially. We righted our house, and you know I just think if we move along doing what we're doing, you know, till things straighten out, we'll be all right.
All right. Well, you said a lot of nice stuff, but do you have that plan to actually do it? Because it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to actually have that, you know, in stone to say, we want to reach these goals.
Everybody knows where we need to be. You
How do they know where they need to be?
Because, you know, everybody's been there for a long time, and we're kind of on top. Everybody knows we need to stay on top. We need to generate leads. That's what we need to do. Okay, and the salesman got to go out and sell. You know, we'd all like to say we need 10% growth, but
well, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I don't see why there's any reason you can't say we're going to have 10% growth and you're going to have 10% growth. But if you don't know what the goal is supposed to be, how are you going to be satisfied with whatever the outcome is?
I know it's hard for you to understand. I have my goals.
No, it's not hard for me to understand. I understand it. It's just you're not making it clear to me that you have any goals.
You know, there's good years and there's terrible years. Last year was a terrible year, and nobody figured that.
The same thing where you're in and out of hundreds of homes, I'm in and out of hundreds of businesses, and it's given me the opportunity to figure out what makes entrepreneurs tick. And really, you're no different than me and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. It's the way you choose to operate, which may not be necessarily the norm. It seems that your business plan is up here and you said, oh, I know the sales goals, I checked the board, the scorecard, I know the numbers I want to hit for the month, but you were a little fuzzy when it came to what you want to do in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. That's the stuff that I really feel strongly about. I know you've run a successful business all these years by maybe not thinking about those things, but things are different now. Your business took a major hit, you're recovering from that, and you said it earlier that you won't take the risk. I really suggest that you use some sort of business planning tool, whether that be a software tool with help from a professional. If you don't have the skills yourself to do it, I think that'll help you dramatically.
You know, after the holidays, I'm gonna sit down and make some goals, and you know, I'll call you up and keep you up on them. But I'm not gonna let go. No, I will. You know, I appreciate what you do, Rob.
What did Robert Frost say again?
Good fences make good neighbors.
Scott is certainly living the American dream and inspiring the entrepreneurial spirit, but that dream needs a plan. I tried multiple times to make Scott understand how important it was to have a plan for his company, if not for himself, for his family. He needs to have a plan with absolute goals if he wants to continue his family legacy. This is Basso on Business.